I don't think you can see me. Anyway, I wanted to try something new because I was sitting in the front seat and I couldn't get the phone won't stay up on the magnet thing anymore. So I'm at Starbucks, like right across from the Computer History Museum, which I thought was cool. But I'm at Starbucks and not far from Google headquarters, which you could probably see if you just like walked over there. But the new one, the old one is that way. But I'm sitting there looking at this Starbucks that's like, I listed it a while ago as a place to write because it's like where a lot of the computer people came to get their coffee and stuff. And it's right across from the Computer History Museum. So I had to get in the back seat to use my other holder for my video because the one I've got in the front seat is magnetic and the thing falls off now. I've got to fix it. It's maybe if I clean off the little rubber pad, it's like maybe got some of my hand oils on it, and so it's like it's not holding as good. But usually it holds it pretty solid, so I'm gonna have to clean it and everything. But meantime, I'm just gonna use this one in the back because it works too. And I usually use the one in the back for watching movies or watching videos on my phone while I'm laying down in the back seat, like at night. Because this is my house. So welcome to my house. It's a nice house. No rust. But anyway, I'm sitting here because I wanted to start making examples and do them quickly. Examples of things that you can unpack and read the symbolism of, like with Starbucks. I mentioned before that alkaloids, bitter alkaloids, tend to be like poisonous and stuff, but when you have like something it tastes like a poison, but it doesn't actually kill you, because what coffee does, it just gives you the feeling of anxiety, like something's going to, and that is what motivates you to do things. Like, you know, if you think you're under threat in the world, you do things like run like something's chasing you. You know, we all say that kind of stuff. So you just chase yourself with a little bit of biochemical influence, and then you know that it's not actually scary, and just use the energy to go do what you need to do. So such is the nature of having a higher level cortex. But so you get your coffee, and here's the poetic thing about it, is I just want to go through some of the poetry of it. The connections just keep going. It's hard to know when to stop, so I will just stop when I get to a certain point. But you can pretty much talk about everything because everything is like interrelated like this. But like coffee, I think I said in another video or a comment at least, the outside of the bean, coffee bean, is like a grape. It's sweet, and if you eat it, it's like sweet, and it's probably good for you. But then if you spit out the bean, which of course isn't roasted, it's like green, and it doesn't taste very good. I know, because I picked beans off a coffee tree and eaten them. But I did it because I didn't have any coffee. I worked for a guy that had like exotic plants in his greenhouse. He's a billionaire, and he was growing coffee trees, and I was like, crap, I don't have any caffeine, I'm really tired, so I just took some coffee beans and ate them. It's really horrible. The outside was really sweet and good, but the inside was like bitter. And so what happens is, if an animal starts eating the inside of it, it freaks out, you know? And so they learn to just eat the outside and spit out the part that will make them feel like that, because they can't use rationality and stuff. So what the cool thing is about the whole Starbucks thing too is, like, Starbucks was the one that went out to saw the white whale, did all that stuff, but didn't do it in a way that it killed him. So it's perfect because it's like it helps you go do something big and find something unique while you don't get killed. And that's like thinking. And since coffee is commonly used to propel thinking, it's very poetic. So like when you think, it's evolution taking place. I used to say this in graduate school, and people were like, what? I was like, thinking just speeds up evolution. So like everything to me is thought. That's why I wrote about it in my books and papers and things for the past 20 years. But so the whole universe is thought. All universes are thought bubbles. And so when it comes to something like this, it is like a metaphorical parable of something that's very important because of the Logos Echo. The Logos Echo tells us everywhere who we are, reflects who we are. where we came from, where we're going. And a lot of people go through life and they don't ever see that stuff, and they're just like, I am at a loss, you know? So I thought I'd start talking about specific examples of how differently I see everything in the world so that people could understand, because it's there. It's just sometimes just a matter of seeing it in a new way. Like T.S. Eliot said, we should come back to the place we started out from on our journey, and after all of the journeying, to know it for the first time. So this is kind of sums up what I wrote in my first book, which is called The Textbook of the Universe, The Genetic Ascent to God, because our writing reflects the way that our systems of writing and our organization of libraries and things like that reflects the way the universe is constructed. So does the internet, but I don't want to get into that right now. I just want to talk about the coffee. So, because it's a very easy and good one to talk to. Everyone relates to Starbucks. When you get your Starbucks, you know, and you drink that, it is saying something. It is not just that you're wanting to get a kick and get going with your day. It's everything about it. It's like you're making a life choice, a choice for the future. This is why when resources go to it, it also teaches you, because that's how evolution happened. Like the meanings are what made the resources go to it. So the entire world that we see is a teaching machine. I know I keep saying this and people are like, what are you talking about? Everyone thinks I'm crazy all the time because they can't see the whole thing. So when I talk about a little part of it, like a potato being a model of the universe, then they're like, oh wow, you're crazy. No, a potato is actually a model of the universe, and the universes, the birth of universes, and how they hang together and how they work. So everything aspires to reflect the creation. It's like the best way to put it. A tree is an obvious model of universes. So are humans. And they're pretty much in the exact same way models. But sometimes there's like something invisible, and then the visible reflects the invisible. There's things going on that are reflected in reality, like a user interface. So it's like Earth is Congress of universes, kind of a thing. If you know what I mean. You probably get the potato thing better if I say that too. Maybe not, because I always have to be explicit, but I don't want to get off too much of a tangent, because this is always what happens. Then I don't make my point and people don't click on my videos. Gotta stop doing that. I have to talk like a normal human. So the Starbucks coffee thing, it is a little ways away from something that would cause death, that actually would cause death, poison. It's far enough away that it doesn't, and it ends up actually being good for us, because we know what it symbolizes and means and does. And it's uncanny that we would have something like that. It really is. And so, like, with ayahuasca, the Indians just figured out that the DMT and Psychotria viridis plants would not have its effects if you didn't mix it with the Banisteriopsis caapi vine, because that has the necessary, it also has MAO inhibitors in there. It has inhibitors for the breakdown of DMT by the stomach. So that allows you to get the main effect from the Psychotria viridis plant you otherwise wouldn't have gotten. And they said that the plant gods told them which things to mix to do that and stuff. So it's kind of like that with life and everything. There's like at a certain point, and then makes a jump into another niche and things like that. And so with our brains, we tend to think that, well, like with the church, if everybody knows these things about the universe and it contradicts what the church says, well, they're an established power and they get resources and everything. And that's the one lesson that people tend not to get, that causes wars and conflicts constantly between people, is they don't want to change their perspective and their interpretation of things. It feels like death. But it can be, once you learn enough, then you can see something new and move to something new. It'd be like drinking coffee, where it actually helps you and is good for you, but it feels like something's dying. So that feeling like something's dying is especially acute in anyone that has a lot of power or vested interest in the way things are seen now. So that's what causes a lot of wars and things like that. And especially if something becomes, they put too much into the symbols and don't look at where the symbols are pointing. And they don't understand that a lot of symbols show us that the animals that go extinct are the ones that stay in a niche and lash out if anything tries to come, or then eventually they go extinct. They can't advance anymore. So you have to look at all the lessons together. So I'm not discounting the overall view of things, but I am just focusing on the Starbucks thing. So this is how I see everything as being the speech of God. God is telling us what to do in everything. Not telling us what to do, but showing us the right path and talking to us through all these things. So it's like when we have those speech-to-text translators, like the Dragon Naturally Speaking back in the day. I had that. It's much better now than it was then, but you speak and it goes into text, and it's not perfect. There's always errors and things like that. But if you keep doing it, then over time the errors get less and less. So if you look at it that way from the other end, it's like, instead of from our point of view, it's like God is speaking and getting it better and better at it. So and that stuff that comes like from the other end in time. Then again, I'm going to get off on a tangent. That's my first book, and Interstellar movie, by the way, also has the same theme as my first book. But that's another reason why I'm getting into like trying to tell people what's going on with black holes and stuff, and the Big Bang and that kind of stuff, and what's before the Big Bang. I know what's there. I can tell people, and it's all listed for us out here explicitly in the experimental method laboratory of planet Earth, the Congress of the potential universes, or the universes that exist but are reflected. So Starbucks coffee is that. It is very symbolic, and then when you actually go there and drink it and it has those symbols, it actually is like doing a ritual that's holy. And the Starbucks is the speech of God. So if you ever wanted to say that to someone that told you you're spending too much money on Starbucks, I don't mean to be an enabler, but so that's my video for today. I hope you liked it. Thanks. Bye. Alright, so I'm just taking a video of the area where I'm having lunch at Starbucks. Thanks to stimulus check.